I'm gonna quote Will Buxton, but if you have four wheels, you have a car.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Motorsport. We're your hosts Daniel and Alex, and it's finally Supercar Week.
Hey.
It gets exciting every month we do this. It's finally Supercar month. It's finally Supercar Week. How good? But before we get into our weekend preview for New Zealand, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't yet. Feel free to check out all our other content. We cover all things motor racing, whether it's Formula One, Supercars, MotoGP, pedal pre, you name it. Everything for your catering is all there for you to check out. And come back to this video, by the way, too. Alex, how pumped are you to get some supercar action of the way?
Mate, I'm really pumped up. Also pumped up because it's probably one of the best rounds of the year in terms of action, I would say. They've crossed the ditch. The cars are in New Zealand. The drivers are about to head there probably today, I'd imagine, on the Wednesday. And yeah, dude, I reckon this weekend's going to bring up a lot of good action. I actually didn't get to watch it last year because I was with Ivan for Formula RX8. So this weekend, I'm very much looking forward to watching a lot of the action. And the time zone actually works out wonderfully for us. So very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. Last year's action was really, really cool. For reference, our shirt. Chazzy had a horrible weekend losing his wheel.
Look, I think I'm gonna quote Will Buxton, but if you have four wheels, you have a car. So I think that if Chaz can have four wheels in his car, he'll have a better opportunity to win this week.
Just so what you're trying to say
theory
is,
of what I've thought about, yeah.
So what are you saying is Chaz Mostert's grandmother had three wheels?
And he would have been a bike.
Trike.
That is one of the best videos ever. But back to Supercars action. Yeah, they're really looking forward to this weekend. It's going to bring up a lot of questions, I think, for the championship because there have been some new winners. There have been some shocking results. Anything, I think, can happen this weekend. And
for sure.
Yeah, we're going to find out very soon. Unfortunately, there's no race on the Friday, which I thought they were promising, but I guess I've misheard something.
Maybe it's just the 440.
Yeah. So the new 440s concept is going to be debuted this weekend, which basically means there'll be two short races and one longer race. So pretty keen for that actually, because just more. I feel like when you have more race starts, it brings up more action. So I'm just keen.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's actually quite a short turnaround too between races. We'll get to that soon.
Between the first two, yeah. Yeah, well, I praised the Friday action at Sydney. Like, even though it wasn't exciting, but it made Saturday that much better.
I remember we kept talking about we woke up the Saturday morning thinking it was a Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It shook me up a little bit.
And even with the Grand Prix, racing from Thursday up until Saturday, Sunday didn't actually happen with the wet conditions. But before we talk about this weekend and what to expect, let's dive over some recent news. It's pretty big news, actually. What will end up being big news is last time we spoke, so last week, we briefly spoke about this on our podcast towards the back end, if you guys want to check that out, with GM and their homologation team. It was meant to be an announcement Thursday, got delayed until April 16th. Which, of course, is after this race, so it will be on the Wednesday. And that's when they'll announce it. Rumours have speculated that, a lot of sources actually speculate that Team 18 will, in fact, be taking that role over Triple Eight, which surprised me. I don't know how you feel, but I always thought Premiere was going to get that.
Well, yeah, we mentioned it last week in our overall huge OTM show with Ivan, that we did think that Newlaw and Premiere were going to get that deal, but seems like something's happened since then, and Team 18 have swept in as the top dog to get that. I think it's going to be good though. Like I did say during that show last week that Team 18 does have a brand new headquarters. So perhaps they built that ready for this. Who knows? But then it also throws up another curveball. That if they do get it, what are Eula and Premier going to do? And there's potential from other sources that BJR might think about changing their manufacturer of choice to potentially Toyota with the Supras. The only problem with that is that they currently run a 4-car team. Most likely it'll be shifted down to a 2.
Yeah, and I've always said this, that BJR need to shift down to 2 to do better, because we've seen the potential they have. With 4 cars, it's just impossible.
Well, we've seen other teams do it. You know, Tickford, the main source of that, and the most recent source of going from 4 cars to 2, and it's jumped their success up massively. And I'm assuming their paychecks as well.
Yeah, definitely. And so they're in a bit of a predicament on who goes and who stays, because I actually spoke about this with Bryce, one of our viewers, the other day. That, in my opinion, regardless, this Macaulay Jones should go. And but it's a tricky thing because we've got a Lance Stroll situation. I will say my predictions if they shifted down to 2, and you can say yours. But I think simply it's going to be Andre and Jackson Evans.
Yep,
right?
agreed.
Regardless, that SCT Logistics car will stick around with the sponsors and whatnot. And Bryce thought maybe Jones could end up in that car, but then you have to get rid of Evans. And they're definitely not going to get rid of Andre unless Andre decides to go somewhere.
The problem is, I'm not sure if we've got like a bit of a Simona Di Silvestro issue, is that Jackson has enormous racing pedigree in GT cars and in Porsches. He's come over here to A, be at home a bit more, and B, try this and try see how successful he can be in supercars. And yeah, I know it's only been a year and 3 races. 2 rounds. But maybe he's not really fit for supercars. And potentially maybe that's the only reason I would see him not return to BJR next year if they were to downgrade to 2 cars. Because I must be honest, Bryce Forwards impressed me a bit this year. He's been pretty consistent. I think he definitely deserves a seat well over Macaulay Jones. There's not even an argument about that. But you got to work out, Jackson Evans or Forward.
Well,
that'd be the only question.
Jackson has shown some potential.
Yeah.
I reckon a lot more potential than Bryce did in his early supercar days. Keep in mind, this is Jackson's second year.
Yeah, true.
I reckon I would hate to see him go. To leave supercars. Hopefully, maybe if he does end up leaving BJR, he can go somewhere else, different team. But I don't want to. I hope we don't see him out. But I feel like Macaulay Jones, he hasn't really improved since he joined. Let's be honest. Since 2018, he has not really gone.
No, but he never did. Also, he never did anything good to get that seat in the first place. It's all because of Bradley.
Well, he didn't do too bad in Super 2, but I think during his time in Super 2, there weren't many... Oh, no, they had...
No, there were good drivers back then.
There were, yeah. I think it was Bryce Forward's time when he won that year.
There wasn't that many. Yeah.
But Jacobson and LeBrock left, yeah.
Well, one thing that Super 2 does better than, let's say, F2 does to Formula 1, which is they usually promote a champion.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Kyle Allen. It did take him an extra year, but still, usually Brock Feeney, Declan Fraser, they've all got promotions after they won a championship. Whereas, no offense to Macaulay, but he didn't. So, and neither did Jack Smith. So the way that those two guys...
And Thomas Randall also promoted too.
True, but he was always next cab off the rank.
Yeah.
For Sigford. But, yeah, look, I think it's just going to be a matter of time that Macaulay Jones is out of the seat. I don't think he deserves to be here as a full-timer. I think he's a really good co-driver. He could be a really good co-driver.
Yeah, I reckon he might be all right.
But he just hasn't shown anything. I don't even think... Has he finished in the top 10 before?
I can't remember. But nothing against him. He's a fantastic guy.
Oh God, no, he's awesome.
Personality is great. In terms of driving in supercars, however, probably I think he should hang up his helmet for that. Definitely give someone else a crack. But yeah, I reckon this would be a great opportunity for Brad Jones to shift down to 2 cars. It's a perfect opportunity. They've only, unless they, actually, wild speculation. What if they did 2 cars were Chev, 2 cars were Toyota?
I had that thought in my head, but I'm not sure you can do that.
I don't think you can. Ignore that. But saw nothing. It could happen. I don't know. It just crossed my mind literally just then. So
yeah, no, it crossed my mind when we started talking about this all together. But yeah, I don't think you can do that, and I don't think it's worth it. Do they really need to keep 4 cars? To be honest, I honestly think for Brad Jones himself, personally, dude, limit your stress. You're stressed out.
Yeah,
I think just the fact that you have 2 cars that are brand new, Toyotas, Supra, you can regain. I think also another problem with Brad Jones Racing is they've lost their brand, like they lost their popularity in the field. You don't see many people walking around with BJR shirts on when you go to a race.
Not as many as you used to.
No, God no. So I think maybe this is a perfect opportunity with the Toyotas to build up their popularity again, sell some more merchandise, make some cool ones, and go from there.
Yeah, well, maybe what they could do is release 2 of their charters to make a new team could take over those 2 cars.
Yeah,
unless they go back to supercars. I don't know how that all works.
There's no problem with them. They could even technically sell all 4.
Technically, they would if they would to go to the Supras. There's no reason to keep the Gen 3 cars because Super 2 run the Gen 2 cars.
Yep.
So, theoretically, unless you want to keep them in the dust for a few years.
Hey, I'm not really...
Super 2 end up shifting over.
I'm not against more teams in supercars. I don't know who would have one, but if they can expand the field to 26, why not?
Do you know what was actually interesting?
Although, hang on, sorry. I was going to say if BJ went down to 2 cars, it'd be a 22 car field. But then I guess if they sold them, then it'd go back up again.
Yeah.
If they sold all 4...
Nothing would change. You just have a new team. That's all.
Yeah.
In terms of list. But so that reminds me, before Shaw and Partners and like Steve Blackmore and El Evans from Shaw and Partners and Southern Truck Cross Rentals, who follow us, by the way. Hello. Steve Blackmore. They actually were saying on Scotty Pye's pod that before they went to Triple Eight, when the whole Erebus thing was happening, they were thinking of forming their own team.
Yeah, there was heaps of stuff going on with
just really
the selling of Erebus last year. I don't know when that kind of got settled, but I don't see why not. If someone out there has got the funds to start up a team, there could be potentially 4 cars up for sale.
Because it was interesting. He literally had a coffee chat with Roland Dane, and Roland Dane literally talked him out of it and said, "Why don't you just come with me instead?" That's a short version, but that's what happened. But yeah, I would love to see maybe Peter Adderton might want to dive into.
God.
Could you see maybe Paul Morris maybe getting a team? Maybe that could happen. He has a Super 2 team. He had one. Lots of possibilities, lots of possibilities. We haven't actually seen a team since Matt Stone Racing go from Super 2 to Supercars. That would be cool to see one day again. We've seen how successful Matt Stone Racing have gone since they joined with Todd in 2018. So maybe we can see what Anderson... Eccleston, I think, even had a thought about joining Supercars as well. Eccleston Motorsport. So maybe they could go to them. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But next week, of course, we'll be covering all the news when it goes public. I dare say would end up at Team 18, even though I think Nulon really do deserve it more than them. But because on one hand, though, Team 18, right, they've got the new facility, like you mentioned, but they've also got Adrian Burgess, who worked for AAA as well as Walkinshaw.
Yep.
And so he's technically worked for both homologation teams, even though at the time AAA wasn't one.
I will say, I was really keen for Nulon to get, Team 18 to get Toyotas because they would have the sickest liveries on the sickest car.
Well, they've got the Toyota forklift sponsor.
Yeah, which is also another problem. Yep.
And they've also got Hino as another sponsor as well, which is also...
Yeah, the problem with them is
another thing.
Another problem. The problem for that is they're also using those products in their workshop.
Well, quick question though, it gets you thinking, if they were to partner up with GM, would GM even allow them to have other manufacturers as a sponsor? Surely not.
That's what the problem is.
Yeah, so they would essentially lose those sponsors to become a factory team. And will GM make up for that? I don't know.
But there's also another... I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Another point, right? We haven't mentioned it yet, is Team 18 will get Craig Lowndes.
That is true.
Do they partner him up with Anton? Do they partner him up with Davey? Just saying, the interviews with David Reynolds and Lowndesy would be awesome. Hint, hint. Or do they perhaps get a third car and continue a wildcard situation?
It'll be interesting to see.
Do they buy one of the BJR cars if they move on? And run their own program? Do they perhaps even become a Super 2 team? I don't know. There's just endless possibilities for Team 18 to do new things with this deal. Do they expand? Who knows? Do they have a 3-car team? Not sure.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. But it reminds me, I think...
Does Lowndesy make a comeback?
Full time. Actually, I won't say no to that.
Yeah.
I won't say no to that.
No.
But I think AAA are running 3 cars next year still with the Enduro. I think they're still running that program. Because when they did the teaser for Ford, the render.
Yeah, the Chevy was still
3
there.
cars. No, they had 3 cars. They had the red Mustang this time.
Did they?
Just with yeah. Because that's the whole speculation thing.
I thought it was the 2, and then the red car was still a Chev.
So the outside, there was the 2 cars, both with Brown and Feeney, but the Super Cheap car did not have a name on it because Lowndes was a factory driver for GM.
Right.
That's when the whole speculation started about Lowndes leaving AAA. So that was a Mustang. You're Googling it, aren't you?
Yep.
All right, don't trust me. It's fine.
I swear to God I saw the shit. Okay.
Is it? Can you see it?
No, I can't see it.
While Alex is Googling and myth-busting my answers, feel free to subscribe and like this video if you do end up enjoying this. Be sure to hit the notification bell on YouTube to stay up to date with all our latest Motorsport content. Back you go. There you go. Thank you.
You are correct.
Again, I love saying that. But yeah, no, seriously, they might be running that 3 car still, so we'll have more cars on the grid.
Just saying, the Super Cheap Auto Mustang looks freaking wild.
It looks cool, doesn't it?
It looks actually better than the other 2.
It does look really cool. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that news unfolds. Just, I guess, stay tuned in the next couple of weeks. We'll be covering it. All of us at Let's Talk Motorsport will be covering all of the action and news to come from for the next couple of weeks. But speaking of action, Alex, let's dive into what to expect this weekend at Taupo. Or is it Taupo?
I don't know, man. Everyone keeps saying it differently. We need a Kiwi in the comments to...
What did Scotty Max say?
He didn't say anything.
What did he call it? Yeah, well, he mentioned it in the Apex Hunters pod.
Did he? Oh.
Yeah. But
I thought it was Taupo, because if you think about their accent, it would sound better saying Taupo. Then freaking Brock Feeney the other day said, yeah.
I think Taupo.
Taupo. I'm like, I don't think. Whatever.
I'm going to say Taupo.
Someone from New Zealand, send us a voice message. Please.
Hey, running on 7 cylinders, you know who you are. Is it Taupo? let us know. He's a
I got a mate named
fellow
Fade.
Kiwi supercar content creator.
I got a mate named Fade who lives in New Zealand. I'll message him. How do you pronounce?
You'll have to ask
Taupo?
him.
Yeah,
I reckon it's Taupo.
I'll try to find out by the end of the weekend.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so yeah, we've got action happening this weekend, Taupo. Round 3 of the 2025 season. I'm excited. The second time supercars are going there. We saw some pretty cool racing. Last year, we saw Dick Johnson Racing get on the podium, 2 and 3rd. And I think 3rd again on the Sunday. Andre Heimgartner won that weekend. Really, really cool. And we saw a really cool battle between the 2 Red Bulls. So, any expectations this weekend, Alex?
Dude, the Kiwis killed it last year. They had Andre finish first. Ryan Wood finished 4th. He almost got a podium too. Richie Stanaway was 6th. Jackson Evans was even top 10. So there's 5 Kiwis in the top 10. Sorry, 4. Which is insane. That was race 1 of the weekend. Then race 2, we saw 1-2 for Red Bull. Will Brown over Brock Feeney. And like you said, was the shell of Anton Di Pasquale in 3rd. Anton still finished 6th, which was really good last year. And Ryan Woods had another top 10. So yeah, I think I think we'd probably get similar-ish results. Heimgartner hasn't really had as much success this year, although neither did he last year before that race. He didn't even get the podium before then. So let's see. We obviously had that big incident as well last year that took out took out the front row.
On lap 1, yeah, with Tim Slade.
Yeah, that was bad. So if we don't have that again, and Monster has 4 wheels, probably get some different winners this weekend, I would say.
Yeah, well, Ryan is stronger than he was last year. Obviously, this was round 3 or 4 for him last year. Now he's actually got that experience heading into this year. And we've seen he's got some balls. We've seen what he can do. So I'm excited to see how he does.
He's ready.
This year.
I hope,
definitely.
I hope they have good success this weekend because, like we said, they deserve it. Melbourne was a bit of a next question for them. So yeah, hopefully they bounce back this weekend in New Zealand. I'm also keen to see if Tickford can get back on track because they had a dominant round 1 in Sydney, and then were nowhere.
They had a weird weekend, didn't they?
They had a very weird weekend. Very weird.
So bizarre. The fact that Randall got a little tiny fire where the windscreen is.
Yep.
That was just sums up how weird it was. But looking at the weather, it's relative. It's actually there's no rain.
Good.
According to this, so that's good. 20 degrees is the max. So we're in for a good weekend, hopefully, of racing. Keep an eye out for maybe Matt Payne as well. He's definitely going to be there. Matt Stone Racing.
I was about to mention them. Yep.
Keep an eye out for them. Cameron Hill would be on a high right now.
Mate, both of them
how
would
successful he was.
Both of them.
Absolutely.
They were dominant in Melbourne. So yeah, can they produce that performance over the ditch? Who knows? Obviously, we didn't have the last race ran in Melbourne, so they could have had even more success. But yeah, let's see. I think the wet weather kind of helped them out a little bit, so we shall see. But the races that they won though were dry, so
yeah,
I think having a
dry. I'm excited.
I just confused myself then. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was the wet weather didn't help them because that's when they had their worst qualifying versus the dry. So being in dry conditions could help them out a lot if they can produce success at more than one track.
Yeah. Well, in regards to pit stops as well and garage allocations, 888 are back at the top now.
I'll get
so
that.
They're in the ahead there with Tickford still in 2nd and Walkinshaw 3rd. With, by the way, DJR. A brand new livery again. They go 10 years with no new liveries, and suddenly they're releasing new liveries like underwear. They're running jet careers this weekend, which, by the way, they actually changed the livery on Sunday at the Grand Prix because they shipped all the Queensland teams shipped the cars straight after the Grand Prix while they're in Melbourne. Yeah, so they had to get cracking on. It's actually a darker red, which I like. I like the darker red.
Oh yeah, the
Too
white,
much
the dark
white.
red.
Too much white.
So I wonder
in my
what that
opinion.
means with the Shell V-Power sponsorship, or maybe it's just for this weekend.
It's just for this weekend, so they're actually still going to be called Shell V-Power Racing Team this weekend. They've just got Jet Couriers this weekend as a backer. But keep an eye on Matt Stone Racing in P5 as P5. What?
P5.
In P5. P5. At least I didn't say P first. P5th. Yeah, in fifth. Yeah, butchered that first time. Yeah, no, they're in 5th position. They're in the smack bang middle. So keep an eye out for them for sure this weekend, definitely. Drivers' Championship is interesting. Will Brown leads still. Ahead of Cam Waters, only 7 points between the two. I know it's still early days to talk about championship, but Will Brown, he's on a roll. Obviously, it doesn't matter after Bathurst because that's when finals get underway. But you got to get there first. So it's going to be interesting.
Can I quickly mention something about Matt Stone Racing? Thank you. They jumped up 8 garages from Melbourne to here.
Really?
They were last in the championship out of Sydney.
Yeah.
And then they're now 5th.
Crazy. That's crazy.
That's insane amount of progress.
Actually, you mentioned this, right? Back to the GM whole thing. Team 18 are currently 7th, and Nulon is 10th. So maybe I wonder if they factored that in, even though they had a better running at Melbourne than Team 18 did. I'm pretty sure from memory, but they had a horrible round 1.
Can I just say, I can't work it out, but what is on the side of that Nulon car? Is that? Oh, it's an arrow.
What?
In between the Premier logo and the Isuzu trucks. They're not even called Nulon anymore. Just realised. Whoops. What I thought
that's the
that?
Premier.
It's an arrow. The Premier logo.
It's the Premier logo. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No. All good. I was the same as well.
Also,
the year.
I've zoomed in, and both cars 31 and 62 said the word Golding on top of the door. It wouldn't be the Supercars website if they didn't have that issue. And that's the only team that have that, by the way.
That is amazing. Oh, Cooper Murray. Oh, I just realized Erebus have nicknames. Oh, that's cool.
Does it?
I can't read it because it's so.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
That's cool.
Can I just say, what bothers me is every team have the name above the door except Walkinshaw and BJR. BJR have a stupid New Balance logo, which is literally just an N and a B on all 4 cars. Bothers me.
Have a look at this.
Proceed.
Do you reckon
it's not on the website?
If you were a supercar official and you had to make it compulsory that the names are on the side, where would you put it?
I don't mind where it is because that's generic. That's where they usually have them.
Yeah.
I personally actually don't even see any other spots.
No, I don't know, because obviously you can't put it under the mirror because of the scrutineering sticker, the event sticker.
So you can see, if you zoom in, you can see it on the SCT logistics car, Jackson Evans car. Clearly, it's just a New Balance logo. So weird.
Yeah, I see.
Anyway, let's move on from supercars just being supercars.
Yeah, the website, that is.
The website,
but speaking of supercar websites and the fact that their schedule doesn't work, Alex, you've gone through. You've taken the effort on doing both New Zealand and Australian time. Why don't you just take it away?
Well, I've technically gotten 2 Australian time, but I'll only say it once. So if you live in Sydney and Melbourne, then this is for you. If you don't, then I'm sorry. Because daylight savings happened over the weekend and it's just messed with everyone. So, if you're headed to the track in New Zealand, practice 1 on Friday will begin at 11:45, which for Sydney, New Zealand, I'm just going to say Sydney, New Zealand, Australia, all right? Figure it out if you're from other states.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. 9:45 would be practice 1. In New Zealand, practice 2 would be 2:30. Australia would be 12:30. Then we move on to Saturday, so only just the 2 sessions for the Friday. Saturday's a big day. We have on the track, we have qualifying for race 8, which is the first race of the weekend at 10:20 a.m. Then back-to-back for quali at 11:05 a.m. So they're half an hour sessions each with about a 10-minute, 15-minute gap in the middle, which is good. Those times in Australia will be 8:20 a.m. and 9:05 a.m. Race 1 of the weekend, which is race 8 of the year, will begin at 12:50 local and 10:50 for Australia, Eastern Standard. Race 9 of the year, which is race 2 of the weekend, is at 4:05 p.m. local in New Zealand and 2:05 for Eastern Standard. And then Sunday is qualifying for the last race, which is race 10 of the year. That begins at 10:35 local, 8:35 for Aussies. Top 10 shootout, which is actually threw me. I actually forgot that existed, to be honest. That begins at 12:50 p.m. local time, 10:50 a.m. for Sydney, Melbourne, and then race 10, last session of the weekend, begins at 3:05 local, 1:05 for Aussies.
Beautiful.
So yeah, bit of maths if you're planning on watching the race this weekend. You know, you got the time zones of New Zealand, but now we got separate ones for the eastern states and middle. Apparently Darwin don't do it either. I didn't know that until about a month ago. So now, even Adelaide and Darwin are messed up now. It's just a mess. And then if you live in Perth, I'm so sorry. I don't do any of your maths. I'm sorry.
You're 2 hours behind.
They're 2 hours behind us, and we're not even on this list.
So the race is at 4:05 for New Zealand. It will be lunchtime for Perth.
Well, if you're planning on waking up for qualifying on the Saturday, you're going to have to get up at 5:50.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. Lovely.
Put your alarms on if you're in Perth.
That's it. It's like a Formula 1 race, except more exciting.
Happy days. Don't they have the week? Don't they have the round after that? I'm pretty sure they have the round after. Oh, no, it's Tassie, then Perth.
Okay.
Then we'll have to settle for your time zones.
But it's still 2 months between now and then. So it's still a long-ass time. But, in terms of, I guess, predictions, expectations, we'll be doing our own on social media. So stay tuned for that, for our LTM Predicts Championship.
Let's just pick one race winner. Because there's 3 races.
Will Brown.
Good choice.
I mean, that's probably an easy giveaway one.
We should have a non-Red Bull rule.
Ryan Wood.
That's a good shout. That's a good.
I'm gonna shout him
out of the box shout. I reckon one of the Tickford cars. Maybe Randall. Maybe his first win.
That'd be cool.
Well, not Chaz. Cam got pole position last year. Then obviously got taken out before turn 1. So it was what could have been last year for him. So maybe this year.
Also keep an eye on Walkinshaw as well. They could have won as well. So if it wasn't for that issue that they had, but it is going to be interesting. Let us know in the comments your predictions as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments heading into the weekend. Be good to compare even next week. Even we can maybe shout you guys out. But I'm excited to get back into supercars. It's been a while, Alex. We've had a couple Grand Prix in between. Yes, we have had a Japanese Grand Prix, apparently, which happened. Alex doesn't remember any of it. Check out that video. You'll find out why. But any final thoughts, Alex, before we wrap this up?
No.
Why are you here?
I've said everything.
You said it. Fair enough.
I've said everything. No, it's gonna be a good weekend. I'm looking forward to this more than I am for waking up at 12. Well, not waking up, but staying up to 12:30 p.m. on Monday morning for F1.
Staying up.
Which, if you live in Perth, is a good thing because that'd be 10:30 for you. So good. Lucky.
I'm pretty sure you said 12:30 p.m.
No, I said staying up until 12:30 a.m. Didn't I? 12:30 p.m. on.
No, you said.
Oh,
I'm pretty
sorry.
sure.
Dude, this
Play the
is their
tape.
day.
Play the tape.
I'll
12:30
replay it.
p. I hate to stay up to 12:30 p.m.
Well, for people that live in Perth, it's a good thing for them. Actually, being an F1 fan in Perth would be killer, because there'd never be a problem. Maybe except for like the Brazilian Grand Prix, which would start at like 2:30 in the morning.
I mean, America Grand Prix is probably 1 a.m. 2 a.m. It's the same in Brazil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, I hate time zones.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. There's more time zones in New Zealand, so thank you. Actually, there is a final thought. I've seen a lot of rumors about. Is this the same thing that what I'm saying?
No, I'm just amazed that you went from nut to I do have something.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I've heard a lot about potentially a second round in New Zealand.
Double header.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
How cool would that be? I don't know what track though, because they're still working that out.
That would be good. I like more rounds. More rounds, the merrier. We always say that. And spending more time in New Zealand, even better.
Yeah, I'm down.
You're already there. You might as well hang around.
Yeah, literally.
No, so, absolutely.
Supercars, organise that for next year.
Do it.
But
on that note, thanks everyone for watching, and make sure you subscribe and like and do all that fun stuff as well. All our socials are in the description below as well, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.